So if we have in a city, we have a district heating network and we have some parties who are feeding heat into it and then consumers taking heat out. In terms of the heat that's fed into it, what's the typical makeup of the sources of heat feeding into a district heating network?
Well, I suppose in terms of hierarchy, what you'd be looking at is, I suppose, what's the lowest carbon and lowest cost. And at the moment, it's all the heat that we're throwing away. So in Dublin alone, there's enough heat being thrown away to actually heat the whole of Dublin. So between industrial units, power plants, everything down to myself and David lived in Aalborg in Denmark, where they took the waste heat off a crematorium. Now I know that's probably an extreme example.
Fourth generation.
Yeah, exactly. Literally nothing goes to waste. But we've kind of mapped out the whole of Dublin at the moment, and we've looked at every single source of all the way from low temperature to high temperature. So your power plants, you're looking at temperatures up to 90 to 100 degrees that you can take straight off the power plant. Whereas there's also lots of low temperature sources that we're throwing away, like heat from data centres, etc. So the with lower temperature sources, we can use heat pumps. To
boost them
up. The company that Dave's working with, those large scale heat pumps, we can use those to boost up the temperatures of the waste heat to supply to buildings. And as buildings become more efficient, their temperature requirements come down. So more of those lower source waste heat supplies become more feasible, let's say, to plug into the network. Geothermal, for example, we haven't explored that at all. And we've plenty of geothermal sources and solutions that we could be tapping into. But because of the expense, I suppose, of deep cores and deep drilling for geothermal, it hasn't happened yet. But district heating unlocks that whole sector for us.